So a common thing I always hear when people are wanting to change or grow is that iconic phrase, no pain, no gain. My whole life, this was kind of my mantra. I'd push myself through anything, work through the night, and sweat blood and tears to become great. But after a lot of pain, and I mean a lot, I began to wonder if there's a better way. Since then, I've drastically changed how I live my life. My new approach to life is to minimize pain in my life, but still get all the benefits of growth. So if you're interested, stay tuned because I'm going to explain to you how to get all the gains with no pain. Now, the best way to explain this is with a physical example because everyone exercises, or most people, and everyone gets sore when they exercise. I recommend that all of you watch this video by Joe Rogan and Faraz Sahabi on training the right way after you watch mine because it is a great example of exercising without pain. But in the video, he explains that when you push yourself the wrong way, not only do you feel pain, you get less out of it than someone who does it the right way. Pushing yourself the wrong way is doing things to the max. In other words, trying to do too much too fast. By pushing yourself in the right way, it involves doing just enough that it pushes you consistently each day. For instance, instead of doing your max amount of pull-ups 2 times a week and recovering the rest of the week because you are so sore, you could do 5 pull-ups every day with no pain. And over the course of a year, you would do close to around 1,000 more pull-ups. That's amazing. But this concept applies to more than just working out. It applies to our whole life. Whenever someone pushes themselves to the max, they always experience greater pain and get less out of it. That is a natural law. So how does someone push themselves to the max in their life? I find that it is always related to trying to improve themselves too quickly from who they naturally are. Take me, for example. When I graduated college, my goal was to be a successful entrepreneur, someone who starts their own business. Lucky for me, I was able to co-found the Leadership Society of Arizona. And so, just like that, I officially became a real entrepreneur. But how was I going to be a successful one? Well, I thought in order to be a successful person or entrepreneur, I had to possess 4 characteristics that I thought all successful entrepreneurs possessed, which is work hard, be creative, be social, and present really well. But when I looked at myself, I saw a huge problem. I realized that I wasn't very developed at the time in most of these characteristics, except for my ability to work hard. That came to me very easily. I wasn't very creative. I was super uncomfortable with people because I didn't understand them. And I had the most difficult time not offending people when I would present. So in order to improve quicker, I pushed myself to the max. I worked really hard, but I didn't spend the time on the right things in the right way. I was just focused on pushing myself to the max on the areas that I perceived were weak, or what I like to call areas of interest, which often resulted in me feeling like people didn't appreciate my effort by not accepting my work or switching me out for other more qualified teammates. My work mostly consisted of me always trying to create something that would end up not getting used. I remember this one time. I was asked by my leader to create a plan for how we're going to run this small business. And I put a whole binder together, only for him to tell me that it was too much, too confusing, and only needed to be 1 page. That hurt. I'd work on trying to improve my social skills by going to numerous networking events and contacting a lot of organizations. Instead of getting to know people and what they wanted, I would talk the whole time and come off real pushy and overbearing. And finally, Every chance we had to present on our small business, I would try to take it. But I would often leave people confused by talking too much and offend people in the process. Pushing myself to the max caused me a great deal of pain. And even though I was improving at a real slow pace, it came at a great cost that I didn't find very fun or enjoyable. So after a while of doing this, something just didn't feel right about this idea of no pain, no gain, right? I mean, I was getting real tired of this idea that in order to be successful, I had to push myself and I had to do things that were really painful for me when I did too much of it. And it was not even very rewarding anyway. I realized that this can't be the way to a fun and enjoyable life. I needed to make a change, but I didn't know how. So I went to my mentor and I asked him, what can I do? And he told me, Fredo, it's like Bruce Lee taught, the law of harmony. Everything and everyone in life has a natural path. And when you don't recognize it and try to go against it, it will cause you more pain and you'll expend more energy and resources and get very little in return. It's okay to go a little out of your way to improve areas of interest in your life, but you should focus more on the things you naturally do well, which is to manage things and utilize other people's expertise to make sure they get the job done. And this will bring a greater reward. So after I realized this, I stopped going too far out of my way to grow and become better in the areas of my life that I took interest in. Instead of working hard on the things that I was not natural at, I started to focus on what I knew how to do easily, which was managing things and working with people to make sure the work is getting done. I still worked on the other areas of interest, but I reduced my efforts significantly. So instead of creating a final product before I checked in with my leader and team, I would start by sharing an idea I had during a team meeting and see if it was well received. And if it was, I would support the lead creative person to develop it. I stopped going to networking events and meeting leaders of organizations alone. Instead, I will go with someone more qualified and watch and learn from them about people and how to add value more efficiently and effectively. And instead of always trying to be the main guy to present, I would only do presentations if no one else more qualified was able to. And I would make sure to prepare with them ahead of time what to say and how to say it, and to make sure my message was simple and had no risk of offending anybody. And as I did this over a period of years, I can see myself improving faster and not experiencing as much pain. And my life was much more fun and enjoyable because I wasn't going off my natural path by pushing myself to the max. Interestingly, I found out that in order to be a successful entrepreneur, I didn't actually need to be all those other things, which caused me a lot of pain when I tried to be. I just needed to be me. A lot of times we're taught that in order to grow and improve, it is painful. No pain, no gain. But hopefully you learned today that that isn't true, and it doesn't have to be the case. If you focus on figuring out the natural path of things in life, you can get all the gains with no pain. If I may leave you with an invitation, take some time to reflect on how you might be pushing yourself to the max in your own life, and talk to your parents or a mentor about it, and see if there is something different that you can do to still grow in the direction you want, but not cause yourself so much pain in the process. And remember the old saying, what doesn't change remains the same. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up below. And if you want to continue to get premium leadership content, subscribe to the Leadership Society of Arizona.